Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stoic Dialogue, ancient philosophy for the modern mind, where we transform philosophy into deep dialogues that can change your life.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
we've been getting a lot of questions lately about feeling overwhelmed,
Mm,
like your emotions are in the driver's seat.
right.
And that's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
Stoicism and the power of mental discipline.
Yeah. It's fascinating how this ancient philosophy still resonates so strongly.
Yeah.
The Stoics believe that we can't always control what happens to us, like all the external stuff,
Right.
but we absolutely can control our minds and reactions.
Okay, so right off the bat, I gotta ask,
Yeah.
does that mean we have to become these emotionless robots?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't sound like a fun time.
Not at all. Mental discipline isn't about suppressing emotions.
Okay.
It's more like training your mind for calmness and focus so you can live in alignment with your values.
I like that, being aligned with your values. It's
Yeah.
like having a compass, even when things get chaotic.
It-
So how do we actually cultivate this mental discipline?
Right.
Where do we even begin?
Well, imagine your mind is like a garden.
Okay.
If you leave it untended, it gets overrun with weeds, worries, anxieties, all that stuff.
Right.
But with careful cultivation, it blossoms with wisdom and peace.
Okay, I'm digging this garden analogy.
Yeah.
So mental discipline is the gardening tools.
Hmm.
And the Stoics are basically giving us the tips and tricks for a thriving mental landscape.
Exactly. And one of their most practical tools is routine.
Okay.
Routines provide structure and train the mind to stay focused, even when distractions are lurking around every corner.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
But you know what they say about the best laid plans, right?
Yeah,
Life happens.
sure.
What about when things don't go according to plan?
That's where the Stoic concept of resilience comes in.
Okay.
They saw obstacles not as setbacks, but as opportunities to strengthen the mind, like lifting weights for your mental muscles.
So instead of getting frustrated or giving up, we should see challenges as a chance to level up.
Exactly. Remember Marcus Aurelius,
Uh-huh.
emperor, philosopher,
Yeah.
all-around Stoic superstar?
Right?
He faced battles, betrayals, you name it,
Ah.
but he maintained his serenity through mental discipline.
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But let's be real.
Sure.
Most of us aren't emperors facing down barbarian hordes.
Right.
How do we actually put that into practice when we're,
Yeah.
just trying to get through the workday without losing our cool?
One of the simplest but most effective Stoic techniques is the 2-minute rule.
Okay.
You told us you're trying to finish that business proposal, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Imagine using this to finally tackle it.
Okay.
2 minutes. That's all it takes to break the inertia.
Right.
Commit to just 2 minutes of working on it.
Uh-huh.
And often, that's enough to get you over the hump and keep going.
See, this is what I love about Stoicism.
Yeah.
It's not just some lofty, abstract philosophy.
Yeah.
It's about having actual tools for dealing with everyday stuff. So we've got routines for building focus and the 2-minute rule for tackling procrastination.
Right.
What else is in this Stoic toolkit?
Well, in today's world, with constant notifications and distractions,
Right.
mastering the art of saying no is crucial.
Oh, tell me about it. My phone is basically a black hole for my attention.
Right. The key here is to constantly ask yourself,
Yeah.
does this activity bring me closer to my long-term goals? Saying no to distractions.
Yeah.
Whether it's that tempting social media scroll or
Right.
an unnecessary meeting, becomes an act of aligning your actions with your values.
It's like reclaiming your time and energy for the things that actually matter.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this mental discipline thing really empowers you to shape your life.
Yeah,
But I gotta be honest.
sure.
Sometimes it feels like my thoughts are running the show, not the other way around. What do we do about that?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The Stoics were way ahead of their time in understanding the power of our thoughts.
They believed that our thoughts literally create our reality.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
You're saying that by controlling our thoughts, we can actually change how we experience the world.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's not about denying reality or pretending everything is perfect,
Right.
but about choosing how we frame our experiences
Okay.
and what thoughts we allow to dominate our minds.
So when I'm spiraling about a problem,
Yeah.
it's not just about thinking positive. It's about choosing thoughts that are helpful and empowering.
You got it. It's like when you're stuck in traffic.
Mm.
You could get all worked up about it.
Yeah.
Or you could use that time to listen to a podcast.
Right.
Practice mindfulness.
Okay.
Maybe even enjoy a moment of peace in the chaos.
Okay, that's a game changer.
Yeah,
It's like taking control of the narrative in your own head.
exactly.
But what about when those negative thoughts just creep in? How do we stop them in their tracks?
The Stoics had a surprisingly modern technique for this. Negative visualization.
Wait, negative visualization. Yeah.
Isn't that like focusing on the bad stuff?
Well,
That seems counterintuitive.
it might sound strange at first, but bear with me.
Okay.
By imagining the loss of the things we take for granted, our health,
Okay.
loved ones,
Yeah.
even our comfortable home,
Right.
we gain a deeper appreciation for them in the present moment.
Okay, so you're saying that by confronting the potential for loss, we actually cultivate gratitude for what we have right now. I'm skeptical, but I'm willing to hear you out.
It's a powerful perspective shift,
Okay.
and it ties into this idea of actively shaping our reality through our thoughts.
Right.
And that's where self-reflection comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Taking time each day, maybe through journaling, to examine your thoughts, actions, and motivations
Okay.
can help you identify patterns and areas where you can grow.
So a little introspection goes a long way in this Stoic journey.
Absolutely.
By understanding your own thought patterns and triggers,
Yeah.
you can start to make more conscious choices about how you respond to the world. This is all starting to feel like a superpower, like we're assembling a mental arsenal to face any challenge life throws our way. I love it.
I'm glad.
But before we go any further,
Yeah.
I want to make sure we're really connecting with you, the listener.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground here. I'm curious, what's resonating with you the most so far?
Yeah.
What stands out?
Yeah, it's great to hear you're finding these tools helpful, you know?
Yeah.
Remember, Stoicism isn't about becoming some sort of perfect sage. It's about continuous improvement,
Right.
about making progress, not striving for an unattainable ideal.
Progress over perfection. I like that.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off.
Exactly.
So we've talked about routines, resilience, the power of saying no,
Right.
even confronting our fears through negative visualization.
Yeah.
But let's get real for a second.
Okay.
What about dealing with difficult people? You know, the ones who seem to drain your energy and test your patience.
Yes. That's a challenge we all face from time to time. But even here, Stoicism has some valuable insights to offer.
Okay.
Remember, the core principle is focusing on what you can control.
Right.
And that includes your reactions, even when someone is pushing your buttons.
Okay, easier said than done.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it feels like those buttons get pushed automatically,
Yeah.
and I react before I even have time to think.
That's where mental discipline comes in.
Okay.
It's like training a muscle.
Right.
The more you practice choosing your responses, the stronger that muscle becomes.
Okay.
And remember, you can't control the other person's behavior,
Right.
but you can control how you choose to engage.
So it's about taking back your power in the situation.
Yeah.
Not letting their negativity dictate your emotional state.
Exactly. And here's a Stoic technique that might surprise you.
Okay.
Try to understand the other person's perspective. Why are they behaving this way?
Right.
Are they hurting? Insecure?
Okay.
Maybe they're completely unaware of the impact of their actions.
Whoa, wait a minute. You're telling me to be compassionate towards the person who's being difficult?
Well,
Is that letting them off the hook?
not at all. It's not about condoning their behavior,
Okay.
but about choosing a response that doesn't escalate the situation and keeps you in control.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like choosing to rise above the negativity rather than getting dragged down into it.
Precisely. And remember,
Yeah.
by embodying virtues like patience, kindness, and understanding,
Okay.
you not only maintain your inner peace, but also set a positive example.
So, in a way, dealing with difficult people becomes another opportunity to practice mental discipline and strengthen our Stoic muscles.
Absolutely. It's all connected.
Right.
Every interaction, every challenge is a chance to put these principles into practice and see how they transform your experience.
You know, it's amazing how relevant this ancient philosophy is to our modern lives. I feel like we're only just scratching the surface here.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Stoicism is a journey of continuous learning and growth. The more you explore, the more you discover its depth and power.
Speaking of exploring, I'm curious to hear what other Stoic practices are out there. What else can we add to our mental toolkit?
Well, one practice that might be particularly helpful for you is the dichotomy of control.
Okay.
It's a simple but profound concept
Right.
that can really shift your perspective on challenging situations.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's all about recognizing the difference between what we can and cannot control.
Okay.
For example, we can't control the weather,
Right.
traffic, or other people's opinions, but we can control our thoughts, actions, and attitudes.
So it's about accepting what's outside our control. and
Yeah,
focusing our energy on what we can actually influence.
exactly. By letting go of what we can't change and focusing on what we can, we
Ah,
reduce stress and anxiety and empower ourselves to take action.
okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's like choosing to focus on solutions rather than dwelling on problems.
Precisely.
Hmm.
And here's a practical tip for applying the dichotomy of control.
Oh, yeah.
When you find yourself feeling stressed or overwhelmed,
Right.
ask yourself, is this within my control? If
Hmm.
not, acknowledge it
Right.
and consciously choose to let it go.
Okay.
If it is within your control, create a plan of action and
Ah.
take steps to address it.
So it's about taking ownership of our own experience and choosing to respond in a way that empowers us.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
remember, this is a practice, not a one-time fix.
Right.
The more you apply these principles, the more natural they become.
Hmm.
And the more you'll experience the benefits of mental discipline and Stoic wisdom in your daily life.
This is so empowering.
Yeah.
It feels like we're taking back control of our lives by taking control of our minds.
That's the heart of Stoicism.
Right.
It's about recognizing our own inner power and using it to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience.
I'm already feeling inspired to put these techniques into practice.
I'm glad.
But before we wrap up,
Sure.
I want to touch on something we discussed earlier. Negative visualization.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm still a bit skeptical. It sounds a bit morbid, doesn't it?
I understand your hesitation.
Okay.
It's a technique that can feel counterintuitive at first.
Right.
But remember, it's not about dwelling on negative outcomes or expecting the worst.
Yeah.
It's about consciously acknowledging the impermanence of things we value.
So it's more about appreciating what we have now by acknowledging that it could be taken away.
Precisely. By contemplating the potential for loss, we cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude for the present moment.
Okay.
It's like taking a moment to truly appreciate the beauty of a sunset
Right.
because we recognize that it won't last forever.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
It's about shifting our perspective and using that awareness to fuel our gratitude.
Exactly. And remember,
Yeah,
even if the thought of losing something precious is uncomfortable,
Right.
it's a natural part of life. By confronting that discomfort, we build resilience and prepare ourselves to face challenges with greater strength and equanimity.
So it's like a mental workout for dealing with the inevitable ups and downs of life.
You could say that.
Right.
By practicing negative visualization, we train our minds to accept the impermanence of things
Uh-huh.
and appreciate the preciousness of the present moment.
This has been an incredibly enlightening conversation.
I agree.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of Stoicism and its relevance to modern life.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Stoicism is a philosophy for life offering timeless wisdom
Right.
and practical guidance for navigating the challenges and opportunities that come our way.
I think our listeners are walking away with some valuable insights
I hope so.
and tools to cultivate their own mental discipline.
It's a continuous journey of self-discovery and growth.
Right.
Each day offers a new chance to practice, learn,
Yeah.
and become the best version of ourselves.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Stoicism and mental discipline.
Yeah.
But the conversation doesn't have to end here. I'm really struck by how Stoicism gives us this framework for not just surviving life's challenges, but actually using them as fuel for growth.
Yeah. That's a great observation. The Stoics were all about turning obstacles into opportunities.
Right.
They called it the art of turning everything to advantage.
Okay, I got to hear more about this. How do we actually turn, say, a work deadline or a personal setback into something advantageous?
It all starts with that mindset shift we've been talking about.
Right.
Instead of viewing challenges as roadblocks,
Yeah.
see them as training grounds for your mental discipline.
So like a mental obstacle course.
Exactly. Each obstacle you overcome makes you stronger and more resilient. And remember,
Yeah.
it's not about suppressing those natural feelings of frustration or disappointment.
Right.
It's about choosing how you respond to them.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about those times when it feels like everything is going wrong? Like you're hit with a wave of bad news and it's hard to see the silver lining.
Those moments can be tough, for sure. But remember the Stoic practice of focusing on what you can control?
Right.
You might not be able to change the situation itself,
Okay.
but you can control your attitude,
Right.
your perspective, and how you choose to move forward.
So it's about finding that inner strength even when the outer world feels chaotic.
Exactly. The Stoics had a great analogy for this.
Yep.
They said that external events are like the waves of the sea. Sometimes they're calm and gentle, other times they're rough and stormy.
Right.
But you, the captain of your ship,
Yeah.
have the power to navigate those waves.
Yeah.
to adjust your sails and steer your course.
Wow, I love that analogy. It's so empowering.
Yeah.
It reminds me that I'm not just at the mercy of circumstance.
Right.
I have agency even in the midst of a storm.
And that sense of agency,
Yeah.
that ability to choose your response is at the heart of mental discipline. It's the key to living a life of purpose and fulfillment no matter what challenges you encounter.
This has been such an incredible deep dive into Stoicism.
It has.
I feel like I have a whole new set of tools for navigating life's ups and downs.
I'm glad to hear that.
What's one final piece of wisdom you'd leave our listeners with today?
Remember that mental discipline is a journey, not a destination.
Okay.
There will be days when you feel strong and in control,
Right.
and other days when you feel like you're back at square one.
Yeah.
Be kind to yourself,
Okay.
embrace the process,
Uh-huh.
and keep practicing.
Yeah.
The more you cultivate your inner Stoic, the more resilient, resourceful, and fulfilled you'll become.
Beautifully said. And to our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of Stoic wisdom.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Stoic Dialogue, Ancient Philosophy for the Modern Mind. See you next time.